Yo, Adam Gottlieb here in my front yard. Beautiful Chicago day. The cicadas just stopped and they're really loud, so I'm taking advantage of the moment. I want to play for y'all a medley that I've been meaning to record for a while. This is a medley of Vultures of Culture by Medicine for the People, and a rap I wrote called Doublespeak. It all starts to make sense. It all starts to make sense. With all these omens, we've been calling it in. It all starts to make sense. All my thoughts, and particularly my prayers, have not forgotten the indigenous, but the Western man's been working so hard against us. With his Western medicine and his land management and his fences, and the way he protects and the way he preserves, never the way he neglects the people who came first, you know, the same ones that he massacred. It all starts to make sense. Where we're going, where we're at, and where we've been. It all starts to make sense. Well, creator, the behavior of the collective youth definitely seems to be in favor of the Western man's invasion. See him pumping fear like an IV, spreading it like a disease, and all the while building up a clueless army of God-fearing youth with no knowledge of the truth, and their selfishness is so ugly, and it all starts to make sense. It all starts to make sense. Who we gotta talk to if we wanna survive this mess? Talk to the kids. It all starts to make sense. Itty-bitty economies based on geography, fueled by spectators and their money and their need for things that will not last. So go on and build a hotel gift shop in the wilderness, making a profit, capitalizing on it, and all the while trampling on everything that is sacred, and it all starts to make sense. It all starts to make sense. Why the Western man destroys things he doesn't understand. It all starts to make sense. All these patterns and wasteful, destructive practices. Boop 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 living like a third world country inside this country. Fuck the government that puts the people in poverty, and it bothers me when the people are going hungry and the corporate companies have got their cupboards full of groceries. It's disgusting how you can do nothing and complain about the situation in which you're living, but it all starts to make sense. It all starts to make sense. You see, they're vultures of culture and they're picking on all my friends. It all starts to make sense. Oh, indigenous imprisonment. Well, I dedicate my life to the people who need the light to help them rise above the scam on the land and their lives, and I'm cutting like a knife all the lies by the slice. Independent of this democracy is really worth the fight. My request is reasonable, a tribe undefeatable, ambition to keep moving towards solutions that are feasible. It's unbelievable, all the slow-moving people, and they could care less just as long as they get comfortable. Man, it's unforgivable, because the conditions now are critical. Whether or not you're ready, we are now approaching a pinnacle. It's difficult to say exactly what to do, but the change begins with me, and I reflect it back to you. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Use your ability to choose, make a move, and it all starts to make sense. It all starts to make sense. all these omens and the moon phase we're in. It all starts to make sense. How does it start? Oh yeah. Land of liberty, man, you're shitting me. Full of sitting gold ghost dance, you're killing me. American trouble seeker calling out the doublespeak. We're getting educated means developing stupidity. Tell me what's the quality of U.S. equality, quote unquote. We can vote? Oh, you gotta be kidding. Every 4 years you present me with 2 rich guys to choose who will misrepresent me next. I get vexed that the aim of the state is protecting the wealth of a few. Iron Gate, ever since the Constitution made a rhetoric of freedom for the people, they've been using this to cleverly lead them on, feed them on lies. Like we gotta spread democracy by bombing Iraq in the name of what? Gotta be a hypocrite, sick of it, your urban acting different. Politics apocalypse, words mean the opposite. We live in a land where God is a justification for murder, where justice is code for domination, where they understand the word welfare to mean poor, and we'll say national security to mean war. Born from a legacy where civilization meant the systematic genocide of First Nations, is the land of the free and home of the brave, where we killed red people and sold blacks as slaves. And it all starts to make sense. 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 You see, capitalism is an ass-backwards language in which economy means competition to see who can ravage the fastest, buy it and trash it. Actually, the word wealth comes from the word wellness, but it's become an illness. Mentally, the assumption that money is bliss fills us with obsession and consumption limitless. Growth as we understand it means GDP, as in gobbling down the planet like we're eating peeps. And GMO, cause stand for God move over. Monsanto's moving in to replace Jehovah with miracle seeds that miraculously don't reproduce. Actually, I think life is the miracle. Nature knows best. How did it come to this, where food means death, medicine means poison, and we live in a democracy where corporations are people? Pure hypocrisy. We live in a land where God is a justification for murder, where justice is code for domination, where we understand the word welfare to mean poor, and we'll say national security to mean war. Born from a legacy where civilization meant the systematic genocide of First Nations, is the land of the free and home of the brave, where we killed red people and sold blacks as slaves. It all starts to make sense. 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 Well, I dedicate my life to the people who need the light, to help them rise above the scam of the land and their lives. And I'm cutting like a knife all the lies by the slice. Independent of this democracy is really worth the fight. My request is reasonable, a tribe undefeatable, ambition to keep moving towards solutions that are feasible. It's unbelievable, all this slow moving people, and they could care less just as long as they get comfortable. Man, it's unforgivable, because the conditions now are critical. Whether or not you're ready, we are now approaching a pinnacle. It's difficult to say exactly what to do, but the change begins with me, and I reflect back to you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. You use your ability to choose, and it all starts to make sense. It all starts to make sense. It all starts to make sense. It all starts to make sense.